What exactly is the difference between a resume and a CV? In this video, I will answer one of the most common questions that I get asked. And stay tuned to the end for a couple of tips on perfecting your CV or resume for the Australian context. Hi, I'm Anthony, I'm the Career Doctor. Over many years, I've helped hundreds of doctors, managers, and other professionals with their careers. In this particular series, I'm focusing in on some general career topics. So if you like this video, leave a like. If you really love the content, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Okay, resumes and CVs. Let's talk about what each one is. Let's talk about why or how they are different. And let's talk about why it can be a little bit confusing as to which one is the right document for your job application. So what are they? So resumes and CVs, or curriculum vitae, are both formal documents which contain information that assist job applicants in applying for jobs. They both contain information about your personal details, your past work history, your qualifications and other achievements, skills, and anything else that might be relevant to work. Now, a curriculum vitae comes from the Latin meaning course of life. So a curriculum vitae in the traditional sense is essentially a very comprehensive document which pretty much lists out everything that might matter in terms of the job applications. A curriculum vitae is a comprehensive document which contains all of your past jobs, all of your past education, all of your past certificates, your skills, your awards, your publications, your languages, etc., etc. So the CV should really be a list of everything. So on one hand, this is easy because you just list everything down, usually in the reverse chronological order under headings. On the other hand, if you've worked for a while or done a bunch of stuff, then it can be hard to remember everything and keep it all in order. Whereas the word resume comes from the French, meaning to start again after an interruption, which has then evolved into being defined as a synopsis or a summary. So you can already see then that one key difference between the CV and the resume is that the CV is likely to be a far longer document than the resume, particularly for anyone who has been in employment for more than a few years. Another key difference is that the CV really should be, at least traditionally, a list of everything, usually put down under headings and in reverse chronological order. Whereas a resume is a summary, so whilst on one hand it's easier to put together a resume in that it's shorter, it requires more time as you have to think about what to put in your resume and what to leave out, and also how to explain elements of your work history and other achievements. It's up to you to decide what to put in and what to leave out, and how to explain it and tell a story about it. Another key difference between the traditional CV and the resume is the presence of some form of summary at the top of your resume. And this summary is vital as it gives you the opportunity to control the narrative of your career and what you feel you bring to an employer. The final key difference is that a CV only requires altering or adding to when you've got something new to add to it. Whereas, as I say, the resume should always be revised each and every time you apply for a new job. Think of them as two documents that can overlap as well, because often we keep the CV as our record of what's occurred over time and then use that to draw upon for formatting the resume when we actually apply for a new position. Now, here's the tricky part. Whether an employer wants a CV or a resume is often culturally dependent. For example, in many Asian countries, employers really want to get a CV with a comprehensive overview of all your career to date. In other countries such as the United States, there's a strong preference for a resume which is usually no more than 2 pages, on the basis that you should be able to summarise yourself well. But these are only general observations, and it can depend on particularly which industry you work in. In Australia, where I'm from, it can be even more confusing because whilst many employers ask for a CV as part of your job application, that's not really what they actually want. You see, they don't really want that comprehensive CV that we've talked about. They don't want to be stuck reading page after page. So what they really want is something a little bit closer to a resume, which I might call a summarized CV. So something that might be 2, 3, or 4 pages, and as I said, looks a bit closer to an actual resume, something that still summarizes and preferably has one of those summary statements at the top of the document. So a key thing to check with any employer in Australia is what sort of CV or resume are they looking for. In particular, when I work with doctors from countries like India, Pakistan, Egypt, I find that they often are confused about this particular issue. So I think it is good to check, because often what they hear or see is that the employer wants a CV, and so what they submit is a very long document with a list of job responsibilities, not a lot of description about actual achievements at work, and often pages and pages of publication. And that's really not what the employer wants to see in Australia. So remember, a CV is a comprehensive list of your career, whereas a resume is a summary tailored to the actual job application. And in Australia, when employers ask for a CV, they're often looking for a summarised CV, so check what the actual requirements are. Question time. Have you had any problems working out whether to submit a CV or a resume? I'd be interested to know. Leave me a question or a comment in the description box below. Also, check out the description for a link which will take you to a page on the web where you can enter into a giveaway where I'm giving a chance for 5 viewers to win a free CV course. So that's CVs and resumes. If you liked what you heard, leave me a like. If you really love what you're seeing, subscribe and turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.